Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Well, seeing how it is still Nickelodeon month. Indeed. I think it's time that we look over another element of Nickelodeon's success, the sitcoms, or as I like to call them, the Nickcoms. These are the live-action comedies that tried to deal with kids' problems the same way primetime comedies tried to deal with adult problems. They were creative, entertaining, and fun. Well, okay, maybe not exactly funny, but certainly inventive. You couldn't get these shows out of your head no matter how hard you tried. God knows we tried. So, rather than mock these shows, let's take a look at how these shows help put Nickelodeon on the map. Let's start with one of their very first Nickcoms, You Can't Do That on Television. Though technically not made by Nickelodeon Studios, You Can't Do That on Television played a big part in helping give Nickelodeon its identity. It was a sketch show like Saturday Night Live or SCTV that had reoccurring characters and usually a theme that tied them together. For example, if the subject was romance, every joke in the show would have to be about romance. And if the subject was mediocre, underwhelming comedic writing, you'd pretty much have every single episode ever written. Watch this if you don't believe me.
What is it? You look so happy.
Mom, it was love at first sight.
I know exactly how you feel, dear. It was love at first sight when I met your father.
The show aired on Nickelodeon, but got its start in America's humble neighbors to the north, Canada. Which means you always hear my favorite mispronunciation. It's about you socially polite freaks! It's about A-B-O-U-T, not A-B-O-O-T! Stop saying a boot! This is a boot! That is about. A boot about, a boot about, a boot about, get it right! Every week they would perform in front of an entire audience of recorded laughter, and they would often have reoccurring characters and setups, like the firing squad, the dungeon, and the dysfunctional family. Just the upbeat, child-friendly scenarios that we're used to. Something you may have noticed is that all the adults are played by just two people, Christine McGlade and Les Lyle, who did the majority of the roles, jumping from fat suit to fat suit. I have nothing against this guy, but I don't know. Tell me if some of these jokes seem a little creepy nowadays. Like when he plays Blip, the arcade repairman.
The ideal man for you is Blip?
Okay.
All right, come on. Get out of that costume.
Oh-ho.
I am madly in love with you.
Oh, God.
Would you please go out to dinner with me?
It was a different time. I don't think you have to worry much, though. Most people like to know what kind of gender you are before they start hitting on you, and these kids were often very hard to sort out one from the other. In fact, I often like to play a game at home I like to call Boy or Girl! Alright, let's take a look at our first subject. Short hair suggests male, but the fluffiness of it suggests female. Lack of makeup is more masculine, but then again, those shorts leave very little to the imagination. I'm gonna say boy. I got it! Alright, next one. Long hair covers the ears, but kind of a boyish shirt. I think ultimately I'm gonna go with girl. Alright, I'm gonna have to make it up in the final round. Next subject. Oh my God. I have no idea. Well, the long hair, of course, is feminine, but the lack of any fashion sense is masculine. The earrings, I guess, are a little girlish, but everything else... I'm gonna have to use one of my lifelines. I'm going to call a friend. Hey, Joe! Get over here!
What?
Get over here!
What?
The fuck is that?
I don't know.
What? Don't you have a clue?
Could be a dude.
Yeah, but look at the earrings!
Yeah, but look at the glasses.
All right. I'm gonna say boy. It has to be a boy. What? It's a girl? Oh, bullshit! No, that's unbelievable.
No, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Look at it.
What is
It
that?
looks like a mix between Bill Gates and Velma from Scooby-Doo. What a ripoff!
Oh, that is
so... Aside from finding gender loopholes, the show mostly told a lot of lame jokes that even most younger kids knew weren't exactly that funny.
Hey, Vanessa. Yeah, Lisa? What do you think about computer dating? I think it would be pretty boring. Boring? Why? Well, who wants to go out with a computer?
You see, if they wanted to make it like a real locker room, they throw in some real high school problems. Like, hey, Christine. Yes, Alistair? Did you hear that Vanessa got pregnant? Wow, I wonder if she's gonna keep it or abort it. Is abortion even legal in Canada? I don't know. With our healthcare, anything is possible. Hey, Doug. Yes, Vanessa? Is this just a cheap ripoff of Laugh-In? I'm just praying I have a career after this show. That would have been more realistic. Actually, the ironic thing is, for a show called You Can't Do That on Television, it's pretty friggin' tamed. Especially considering that most of the things here they are doing on television. I mean, seriously, things that you can't do on television would look like this. You see? It's nothing. Because you can't do it on television! Okay, for as much as I bad-talk this show, it did start a lot of iconic ideas for Nick. Like the idea of having kids be the star of their own sketch show. The idea that a show with mostly dialogue won't bore kids to death. And of course, the always classic... Yup, that's right. This was the first show to introduce that frog diarrhea known as Nickelodeon slime, which dropped down on the kids every single time they said the phrase, "I don't know." Well, that's kind of random. That's like saying every time I say the word elephant, the Burger King will appear. God, he's creepy. Well, let's jump to the next show in our Nickcoms lineup, Clarissa Explains It All. This show actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that funny, but did have something kind of likable about it. Now granted, I didn't grow up as a girl, for long. I have a history. But this show did pretty good at keeping both girls and boys interested in the program. What was it about? A teenage girl. And that's about it. Pretty much just a teenage girl.
Adventure Home!
Hey, come on, that's not very nice. Actually, its star, Melissa Joan Hart, was really what held this show together. It's a shame, because she's always casted in a bunch of kid shit, but I really don't think she was that bad of an actress. But there were other characters on the show, too. Most notably her kid brother, Ferguson, who was determined to make her life a living hell. For the longest time, I thought he was just one of those ventriloquist dummies, but then I found out there was a real actor who played him. Then there's her dopey best friend, Sam, who, for some reason, always enters and leaves through the window.
Why doesn't that kid ever use the door?
That's a legitimate question. Why doesn't he ever use the door? Then there's her parents, who seem rather comfortable with the fact that their daughter is a weird psychological train wreck.
Come on, sport, it's time for dinner.
The sooner I just give up on her, the better. She spends a lot of her time chatting it up with Sam, talking to the camera, and making video games usually about indulging her fantasies. Like any of us have ever done something like that, make a video game indulging our fantasies. Alright, mine is called Robo Penis Muscle Ninja. I just played in my spare time! By looking at the fashions, you can tell that this was made around the time when the 80s were trying to die and the 90s were trying to define themselves in that they have no original way of defining themselves. But let's be honest, what we all remember from this show is the theme song. That goddamn theme song. What is it with these 90s shows and having all the lyrics be nothing but do's, da's, and na's? It's just like that other show that shall not be mentioned. Every time I heard this song, I could never get it out of my head. Why couldn't they invent an opening that had a song that was annoying, but not the least bit memorable? Like... Hey, dude. Hey, dude. Ah, yes, the show that taught us that if you think your life at home was boring, at least you weren't working on an insufferable horse ranch. I mean, for a show having to deal with looking after a ranch in Arizona with horses and everything, this was a really boring show. I mean, just listen to how cool the opening sounds.
Better watch out for those man-eating jackrabbits and that killer cacti.
Man-eating jackrabbits? Good! Fuck, this sounds cool! So tell me, what's our first adventure?
I'm starting to turn into my father.
Wow! So the show takes place on the Bar None Dude Ranch, run by Rick Moranis' clone, Mr. Erst.
Jake.
Flintstone! The rest of the characters are teenagers who deal with real exciting adventures. Like, who drew this picture of me? Are we allowed to ski on the dirt? And who am I gonna leave in charge while I'm gone?
You better leave the keys here with somebody. Who's it gonna be?
Well, Mr. Ernst, if I may suggest, perhaps you should choose someone that has proven herself or himself to be responsible, good leadership skills, and excellent knowledge of horses.
I think you're both right. Danny?
Yeah. No!
No?
I'm the riding instructor.
I'm senior staff. All right, fine, then. It'll be one of you two. You decide.
No!
No?
You have to decide, Mr. E.
Yeah, Mr. Ernst.
I'll flip a coin, Heads, Ted is in charge. Tails, Bradley.
I wanted heads.
Bradley, please, let's just get this over with. Oh. Hang on. It went underneath the Jeep.
Just change the fucking channel!
Seriously, it's like all they do is stand around while they look at other people having fun.
Hey look, some guys on a boat. Wouldn't it be nice if we did something like that?
Nah, that might be exciting.
2 of us should go gather up the horses while the other 2 go fix the gate.
Yeah, Danny, you and I'll go fix the gate. Ted, Brad, you guys go get the horses.
Alright, finally, getting the horses, some riding, roping, all that good stuff. This'll all be fun, right?
Is that the last one? Yep.
Well, we got the gate all fixed.
Great.
Look guys, Brad and I have been talking and we feel like we kind of owe you an apology.
Hey! Hey! That was one horse, and we didn't even see you get it! Good God, you get more of the Wild West by listening to Slim Whitman, for crying out loud!
I couldn't imagine ever wanting to leave.
Me neither.
Neither can I, especially when there's just so much stuff to do. I especially love it when they run the end credits and show stills from the episode we just watched, as if to say, wow, what an adventure we had, huh? Hey, remember how we used to just stand around and talk about how we used to just stand around? You don't? Let me tell you about it. We used to just stand around and talk about how we used to just stand around and look out! A horse! Oh, thank God it's gone. Alright, so Hey Dude was a bit of a bust. But one show I'm sure most of you remember was the short-lived sitcom Salute Your Shorts. Though not exactly hilarious, it was a huge step above some of the other live-action shows Nick was doing at the time. It was about a camp who had a wild, restless set of misfits who all liked to get into trouble. Their counselor was a guy named Kevin Ugg Lee, so you can guess what everybody called him. That's right, they called him stupid. No, they called him ugly, of course, as he tries to keep this army of kids well under control. Unfortunately, he's about as effective as Ernest Goes to Camp in this place. There were a lot of kids on this show, but a select few stood out more than most. There was that mullet kid from Terminator 2 named Bobby, who I guess was supposed to be the wise ass of the group.
I tell a ghost story and you buy hook, line, and stinker. I just cut one.
Thanks for sharing. Donkey Lift, who seemed to have a speech impediment of all the Looney Tunes.
I got everything you asked for. Hey, what's the difference?
Suffering succotash!
And Telly, who seemed to push the limits about what it meant to be a tomboy.
Bet is, if you chicken out, you have to stand up in front of the whole camp and say how much of a wuss you are.
And when I win,
I'll wear a dress for the day.
A girl wearing a dress of all the horrid imagery! Ah! Hey, look, kid, it could be worse. You could be like the hermaphrodite on You Can't Do That on Television, who somehow looks more masculine in feminine clothing. How is that even possible? The episode that most kids remember is the Zeke the Plumber episode, where a lot of the kids are convinced that there's a supernatural ghost named Zeke who's haunting their dreams. Zeke the Plumber? That's not very scary. Now Joe the Plumber? That's terrifying. They all try to get back at Bobby for telling the story by scaring him in the middle of the night, which apparently doesn't work. Until...
nothing in the world that I'm afraid of. Except spiders. Somebody help me! Help! Please don't leave me out here!
Let's wait till he starts crying.
Yeah! Please, somebody help me!
Or at least until he gives away the portable TV.
That's right, let him suffer. That's what Jesus would do. Finally deciding to help him out, Bobby wonders why the other kids came to his rescue.
And even knowing what a jerk you are, we still came to the rescue.
Why? Because you're my friends?
No.
Maybe it's because we wanted to hear you suffer.
Hate, vengeance, anger. Truly, Ugg has taught these kids great moral values.
I just cut one.
We all have, kid. We all have. Actually, Ugg is sometimes more threatening than he is charming. I mean, look at how he reacts to this kid for digging a hole and hitting a water pipe in his baseball field.
There is a very deep hole in the middle of my infield. Eventually, this hole will fill up with water and this scum will float to the top. Then, Bobby Butnick, you will be mine.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
You may also have noticed that Salute Your Shorts likes to show things 3 times for some reason. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit! While not exactly great, Salute Your Shorts did at least try to put some good jokes together and try to make us laugh. And on the whole, it wasn't that bad. It was entertaining enough, the characters were fun, and they actually took advantage of the location they had. But seriously, isn't there a Nickcom out there that was both creative and funny? Isn't there a show that had really good writing, funny setups, and interesting characters? Isn't there a... Now here's a show that kicked ass. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. This show was so strange and yet so funny at the same time, making all the little things kids notice seem like huge, groundbreaking adventures. It was kind of like Seinfeld for kids, taking small, unimportant circumstances and turning them into giant, hilarious events. But its brand of strange humor was all its own. The show started off as a series of shorts, and when I say short, I mean short, like 1 to 2 minutes at the most. And since they're so short, I can just go ahead and show you an episode and give you an idea of just how strange it was.
Somehow my brother Pete had gotten a job as a stockbroker.
What?
Ellen was teaching old people how to air swim.
Huh?
And me, I ended up cutting the longest, stupidest lawn in the world.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, but...
I began asking myself deep philosophical questions. Like, do dogs go to dog heaven when they die, or do they go to regular heaven?
What?
Then I tried to blow up passing cars with psychic energy. It only worked once.
How?
Then the heat would get to me, and I'd start hallucinating about Ellen. But then there she was, with a popsicle and her air swimming cap still on.
Why?
I told her I still had 6 miles to go.
I'll just walk with you a little ways then.
What the hell was that? It was like a drive-by of randomness. It just came and went. And it was so funny. The show was pretty much a longer and more detailed version of the shorts, which had every bit of that strange suburban weirdness. Like the fact that their mother had a metal plate in their head that picked up radio waves. Or the fact that for some reason young Pete has a tattoo called Petunia on his arm. Or the fact that, I don't know, they're both named Pete. I mean, what the hell? What parent would be so cruel? It's like naming all the Baldwin brothers Alec, and God knows one Alec Baldwin is too many. There's another character called Artie, the strongest man in the world.
Artie, the strongest man in the world!
And maybe I'm missing something, but is Artie, special? I never really understood this character. He was kind of like Where's Waldo's mentally handicapped son. I never really saw the point to him. But then again, I guess the whole show is just about asking the question, what's the point? To be honest, I always thought the show was kind of based on the daydreams that a lot of children have while sitting through school. Like, I love the episode where Ellen asks the question, what's the point of algebraic word problems? Every teacher who thinks it over can't give an answer, and ultimately goes crazy. Or how about the episode where the kids going in the pool during adult swim hours is literally an act of war? It's like when you reach that point of daydreaming about a real situation and then you suddenly say, no, that could never happen. That's where Pete and Pete rolls the credits. It pushed those strange, surreal dreams just far enough to a point where it's over the top, but not unrelatable or not fun to watch. I also like the fact that the age difference for them is pretty big, so you have the overblown issues of a teenager as well as the overblown issues of a little kid. So that really broadened the horizons a lot, as well as the audience. It was one of Nickelodeon's best, making the tiniest of problems seem like the most epic of battles, and we loved every minute of it. Nickcoms weren't always great, but they were certainly fun. And if they didn't keep trying to cross the line of reality and surreality, we never would have gotten shows as awesome as Pete and Pete. So, whether it's writing great material or a load of elephant shit, don't look into his eyes. They'll haunt you. Nickcoms will always be there to help us on the creative path. I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Elephant. Sleep well, suckers.
I just cut one.